What is the best insurance for somebody who travels often and is relatively healthy? I'm gonna assume for the purposes of this video that you are self-employed or not covered by a big company plan, because those people that are covered by group insurance on a company, they're in a totally different boat. But here we're talking to the self-employed person that travels a lot, whether it's business or pleasure, and you're relatively healthy. Now stay watching until the end, because if you travel a lot internationally, I'm gonna share a little secret tip with you at the end of this video. So self-employed people who travel between states or who live in different states for different parts of the year have a special challenge when it comes to health insurance. And here's why. The health insurance marketplace, which is under the Affordable Care Act, it's a federal law. It's an actual law that affects all the different states, but the insurance exchange marketplaces are run by state, and they're different in every single state. And so what's also different in every state are the networks. And the networks are the groups of doctors and hospitals that the person that is insured has the ability to go and see. So here's the challenge. When you travel outside of the state and you have a marketplace plan, the coverage on those is very limited. It's mainly limited to the localized area that you live and when you're in network. Those plans do not pay out-of-network benefits. And so what that means is if you're outside of the state, you might only get coverage for emergencies, which they would have to deem an emergency, or you don't have coverage at all. It's like not having insurance at all. And so that's the last thing that you need is, you're paying a hefty penny for your health insurance in the state you live, but you go out of state and now you're not covered, or it's like you're not covered. So that's obviously not gonna protect you. And so what I would recommend to people that travel often is an underwritten PPO health plan on the private market. And so these are not marketplace, they're not Obamacare, Affordable Care Act plans, they're private underwritten plans. What underwritten means is that they take into consideration your health, your lifestyle, and you get a lot more affordable rates if you have a good, healthy lifestyle. And what I love the most about them is that they give you this nationwide PPO network, which you can go to any doctor, any doctor or hospital within the network, but it's a nationwide network. So even if you travel outside of the state, you're gonna be able to see an amazing doctor and go to most hospitals if you're out of town, just the same as if you're in your home state. And that's really, really important. And these days it's very rare. Another reason I love these underwritten plans for frequent travelers is because a lot of them pay these out-of-network benefits, meaning that even if you're outside of the network or you go to a practitioner who doesn't accept insurance, you can get benefits paid for covered services from your insurance company reimbursed to you. That's what out-of-network benefits means. It means you might pay a little bit more than if you were in network, but you still get coverage, whereas on the marketplace, you don't get any coverage for that. And also you have additional bells and whistles like telemedicine, which you can see a doctor or a mental health provider virtually. You don't have to actually be in your home state to do that. And a lot of times those have lower costs as well. And a lot of those plans also have some supplemental coverage, accident coverage, hospital indemnity coverage, and those will pay out regardless of where you are in the country. So now if you need to travel internationally and want to make sure that you're covered, I will always recommend purchasing travel insurance, which can be purchased for a temporary period and it's not very expensive at all. And that's going to help you make sure that you're covered even when you're overseas. I don't know of a US plan that covers you outside of the country the same way that it would cover you inside of the United States, and I just wouldn't rely on that. And so when you travel, you want to make sure that you have that travel insurance. Now, a potential challenge that I have seen some people come to me with is when they spend like more than 1 month in the United States and then they spend some time, like multiple months, let's say in Europe or in other different countries. Sometimes when we look at everything, the best possible investment for that person is going to be having more than one policy in place at the same time. I know it sounds crazy, but your health is really an investment. And if you're traveling a lot and you're overseas and you get sick, you want to make sure that you can see a good doctor. You want to make sure that you can access the best, just like you would do in your home country. You want to make sure, and especially even more so because now you're in unfamiliar territory, right? So you really want to make sure that access to doctors is going to be something that you have. And so travel insurance can help you with that. And so here's a tip that a lot of people don't know. It was new to me a couple of years ago when one of my clients actually shared it with me. And that's why I love having close relationships with my clients, because sometimes they're the ones teaching me all these little inside tips and tricks that then I can share with the rest of my clients and with you. Some credit card companies, like for example, Amex does this. They have a lot of perks for members and sometimes even for non-members where you can access some travel protection, not just like to insure your trip, like to be able to cancel your trip and things like that, but medical. So you can actually get health insurance, travel health insurance through your Amex and be covered to pretty high dollar amounts for if you were to have like an accident, let's say in another country. So we talked about a lot. And so if you travel a lot for business or for pleasure and you're self-employed, I can almost always help you find something better than what you already have. And I'll share with you about these underwritten PPOs that I briefly touched the surface on in this video. There's so much more to know. And there's so much more that I would ask you about your personal situation and what your budget is and what your needs are and what your health condition is in order to determine if one of those is actually the best plan for you. But I can almost always help you. And so please reach out to me. I'd love to support you and your family. You can find me at alexthehealthagent.com or follow me on Instagram, where I have a lot of other fun videos like this one. And if you liked this video and you found it helpful, please share it and like, comment, and subscribe.